Hey everyone, welcome to another LEGO fan video. Today I'll be covering Season 3 Ben 10 Aliens. So this will cover there's 17 aliens altogether that make an appearance in Season 3. So we got the original 10 aliens, of course minus Ghost Freak, and unfortunately minus Ripjaws, because for some reason they decided, nope, not including Ripjaws. We also have some exclusive Ben 10,000 aliens with Arctiguana, Buzzshock, and Spitter. And then, of course, we got Ben's Transyllian aliens of Blitzwolfer, Snarrow, and Frankenstrike. And those are all our aliens. So today, it's mostly going to be the original aliens. So we got a few over here that we're going to be covering. This is half of them. Next time I'm going to do the other half. So, if you guys are new, the way I do this is that I will display all these aliens here. I'm going to read off the name, say their first line, if they have one. And then it's up to you to try and guess of these aliens which one is the one that I'm mentioning. So let's start with the one that doesn't actually speak. That alien being Wildman, a Volpomancer who first appeared in the episode Ben 10,000, in which he transformed into him in order to battle future Vilgax alongside Ben 10 as Cannonbolt, but unfortunately he was beat and knocked out. So, of these, which one is Wildman? 10 seconds, good luck. Wildmutt is this one right here. Probably so named because he looks exactly like because he looks like a dog? Question mark. So we have Ben 10,000 as Wildmutt. So this is what he looks like. You can see that he's more mature. He has like the orange stripes on the back, as well as the fact that the Omnitrix is centralized where his eyes should be. This is Ben 10 as Wildmutt, so you can see that there's a slight difference between them. You can see first off that the Omnitrix is on the shoulder now. And then when Wildmutt is sick, he would look like this. A little green, but nothing really major. So some other appearances Wildmutt has made over Season 3 is in Midnight Madness. He battled two elderly people who stole some jewels, and he battled them in the parking garage. Unfortunately, they ran off, and Wildmutt was set up for the crime. So he ran into the rust bucket, and sometime during the chase sequence that ensued, he transformed back into Ben. In Merry Christmas, he tried to pass as a reindeer via wearing some reindeer antlers, but he couldn't follow Rudolph's nose, and a fight ensued on some mine carts full of presents, and they were knocked into a gorge. Under wraps, he appeared during the montage, pulling the plow for the horse, and then the visitor took Gwen's kite at the beginning of the episode before being chased out of a tree due to Gwen's spell, making all the dogs around him love him. So you're probably wondering, since he has no eyes, you're probably wondering how he sees. He sees via these little gills, or whatever you want to call them, on the side of his face. He also is shown to be very agile and has sharp claws, which can rip through a lot of items. He also is pretty strong. He has a strong bite. He also has a powerful charge. He can clearly speak Volpomancer. He has shown to be a little bit smarter than his species, considering the fact that he also has a human brain and an alien brain, as far as I'm aware of. He's also very fast, can climb vertically, and has a high jump. However, as I mentioned before, he can't speak any English, being the only alien that can't. Of course, we're going to get into his ultimate form later on, which actually can. When sick, he can't see since mucus clogs the gills, so he's unable to see, only seeing like a starry sky, essentially. He is weak to sonic sounds. He doesn't have too fast of a reflex. He's also pretty heavy. Now, let's get into an alien that actually does speak. That alien, of course, being Ben's fast alien of Accelerate, whose first line is this. Give my Kindle a second to load up.
What? Whoa. Hero of heroes. Ben 10,000. Is that really me?
That was his first line. He's a Kinesiolarian. So, of these, which one is Accelerate? 10 seconds, good luck. Accelerate is this alien back here. So we have Ben 10,000 as Accelerate, which is the same exact appearance as normal Accelerate, the only difference being that his suit is white instead of black. So essentially it's just a color switch. So he first appeared in the episode Ben 10,000, appearing 4 times, in which Ben 10 traveled to the future as him before fighting and losing against the villain of Exoskull. Then Ben 10,000 showed up as Accelerate and beat Exoskull before rushing back to his base. And then once they fought Animo, he took them back to the base where he analyzed the charts before speeding off to fight future Animo. He then fought Vilgax, but was ultimately beat in the end. Then in Merry Christmas, he tried to speed away from the Nutcracker soldiers Mr. Jingle sent. Unfortunately, he ran onto ice and was put into a snowdrift. Fortunately, he was able to beat them by what he called a snow slaughterfest. In Under Wraps, he appeared twice, once battling the mutated cattle like a matador by tying him up before running off to fight the mummy, but he ultimately timed out before he could beat him. Then in the montage scene, he collected eggs from a chicken coop. In the Unnaturals, he cheated at baseball by moving the baseball when he was in slow time to make the Kings win, and also teasing JT and Cash in the process. And then at the end of the episode, he hung JT and Cash on the sign. In Monster Weather, he battled Sam as a lightning storm and managed to make the clouds dissipate, which launched Sam into a salt truck. And then the return, he ran off to track down Victor as well as the Yenodushi and the mummy, and he saw the scare being revived. So he is very fast, which can produce heat and slow down time. He also has a helmet which can enable him to at least breathe a little bit underwater. He can walk/run on water. He can create water cyclones as well as regular cyclones and dust storms. He has a very fast kick, can slow down fall speed, and his claws are sharp, which enable him to cut through a lot of material. He also has a quick attack that he can do with them. Sort of like you see in cooking shows where they just do the nice, like that fast. And he can also run straight up buildings. However, he can't breathe underwater. He can easily be caught off guard. He can use his tail to fling him elsewhere. He can be blinded by light. He can be caught under debris. Due to the fact that he has major speed, he's not really good on ice. He also leaves dust trails, and if he slows down time, he can be revealed via an extreme mode of slow motion. Also, fun fact, if you guys want to know how to spell him, it's actually spelled exactly as it sounds. XLR, and then the letter 8. Number 8. Now we're going to get into one of Ben's stinkier aliens, that being the alien of Stinkfly, a leptobacterian, with his first line being this.
Hey, I was gonna go Forearms too. Great minds must think alike.
Of these remaining aliens, let me move this one over. Of these remaining aliens, which one is Stinkfly? 10 seconds, good luck. So, Stinkfly is this one right here. So we have a normal form. This is Ben 10 as Stinkfly. Pretty normal looking. And then we have Ben 10,000's form, which I never enjoyed. It looks absolutely stupid. I'm sorry if you guys like this, but it just doesn't look good. The colors you can see clearly changed. His head got extremely small. His legs grew extreme in size. Looks like he hit the gym almost. But he first appeared in the episode Ben 10,000 twice, once fighting against future Dr. Animo as Ben 10, but lost after getting his tail caught thanks to Ben 10,000. And then again, he was beat by Vilgax after being lassoed to the wall. In a change of face, he took out a fire that was caused by Charmcaster before being captured by her. Fortunately, Gwen saved him from a body swap and chased after the runaway horse that Gwen was riding before taming it, and then sometime off screen he changed back to bed. In Merry Christmas, he became Santa's reindeer. Yeah, I do not want to see Stinkfly on my roof. He will deliver presents to kids all over the world before changing back to bed. Just imagine if instead of reindeer you see this thing on your roof. This one right here. In Super Alien Hero by Adventures, he followed Abel all the way to his trailer before he timed out. Well, he didn't go all the way to the trailer. He sort of just flew over to his little stunt show and then fell in the water. But he did manage to deface the little property by spinning a little goo onto a digital billboard. Then in the return, he battled inmates who hijacked the bus and almost took them down, but unfortunately he was handcuffed to a pole that was inside the bus. So the criminals thankfully were caught though after being dumped in the water, and then lifted out of the water by Gwen. So his main gimmick is that he can fly and shoot goo from his eyes. He can shoot either a single spray of goo or goo out of his mouth, which can either act as a rope or blind people. It can also make a goo ball that can clag machines. This goo can also put out fires, and he also has acid breath. In addition to all these goo-esque powers and flight, he also has a very sharp tail, has 360 vision, in other words, he can look behind him. He is also pretty durable, and he is fast when flying. However, his eyes work individually, which can be used against him, since he can't focus on just one singular target. And much like other insects, he can't fly when his wings are wet. He also can't swim. Despite the fact that his goo can put out fires, his goo is actually flammable and can cause a giant explosion. He's also one of Ben's weaker enemies in terms of strength, as he's not that strong. If he's not used to carrying passengers and can time out when flying if not prepared. His smell can also give him away, as his tail can be caught in something, as you saw in Ben 10,000, in which he wrapped the pipe over this white part here. And he can't get out since the black part is bigger than the white. Yeah. Now, let's get into from one of Ben's weaker enemies to one of Ben's stronger enemies, that being the alien of Forearms, whose first line is this.
I don't think so. Now go!
And of these, which one is Forearms? So help me, if you don't get this, you're dead. 10 seconds, good luck. So, Forearms is clearly this alien because, well, he has 4 arms. Yeah, not one of Ben's cleverer names, to say the least. So, this one has the most versions. So, we have him in Game Over, in which he was wearing, in which he was wearing just like shoulder pads and little hats, some pants and overalls sort of deal. Sumo stuff. Oh, no, he's not dressed as a sumo wrestler, but you got the picture. This is Ben 10 as Forearms, so typical stuff. He looks almost like Ben 10, only has black pants and fingerless gloves, as well as a black stripe down the middle of his face. When sick, he looks more like this. It's a lighter version of him. He also has hives under his arms. This is what Gwen looks like when she transforms into Forearms. So you can see essentially the same exact look as Gwen looks normally. The only difference between the only difference is that, like other aliens you're going to see later on, she has hair. And then Forearms as Ben, and then Ben 10,000 as Forearms, which is essentially the same exact thing, only like Wildman, instead of the electric still on the shoulder, it's now in the center. You can also see that tusks are now coming out. So he's a Tetraman who first appeared in the episode Ben 10,000, in which he appeared 3 times. Once while battling Dr. Animal, in which he beat him, and once when battling Vilgax, but he unfortunately lost against him. In Game Over, he was the first alien Ben unlocked in the game after fighting and fought Ishiyama after being confused with Kenko. He then later timed out after buying first version of a Sumo Slammer bot, trying to impress Ishiyama. A super alien hero by adventures, he saved Gwen from a broken roller coaster and aided Abel in saving 2 other kids from the coaster before timing out. Under wraps, he tried to milk some cows. Then in the Unnaturals, he battled the squires the second time after getting safe on second. Then he managed to destroy all the squires and Coach Finn, saving the president. In Monster Weather, he battled Sam in his final form and managed to short-circuit him by rocking out on guitar, which destroyed Sam for good. But he timed out before he could officially destroy Sam, and so he had to once again climb up Sam as Ben 10 and destroy Sam then. Then in the Visitor, he battled the Mecha Droid and managed to destroy some of it, with the exception of, I think, the head. But he got a little overboard and accidentally destroyed the rest bucket in the process. So his main gimmick, as I said, is his super strength. He also has the ability to jump super high and has a super slam attack, which can create a mini earthquake and bend metal to attack enemies. He's also durable, and with his strength and bulk, he can burst through a lot of restraints. Due to the fact that his name is Forearms, he has 2 extra arms. He also has a speedy toss, as shown in Gwen 10, and has quick reflexes, as he was able to legitimately catch a missile. He can also climb vertically and could create a sign of clap by clapping his 4 hands together at once. And oftentimes he can be a little fast. However, like all the other aliens, he can't breathe underwater. He can't fit in tight spots like the rust bucket. There is a limit to his strength, as pointed out in Lucky Girl, and is weaker when sick, as well as getting hives under his arms, and is slow. Don't worry, we're still on Ben 10,000, so let's continue with Ben 10,000. Now, our next alien up is the alien of Diamond Head, whose first line is this. Of these remaining aliens, which one is Diamond Head? 10 seconds, good luck. So this alien right here is Diamond Head. So we have 3 versions of him. We got Ben 10 as Diamond Head, who essentially has 2 faces livery of black on one side, white on the other side, exposing the arms. Then you have Ben 10,000, which essentially is the same getup, only Omnitrix is now centered. There's black on the top with a few lines, and then white pants and black shoes. Then you got Gwen 10 as Diamond Head, a little skinnier, as well as having a purple-pink thing rather than black and white. He's a Petro Sapien who first appeared in the episode Ben 10,000, Appearing twice as Ben 10,000 fought Future Animal twice, once beating him, and then he fought him again, only was interrupted by Vilgax, to which he lost to. Ben 10 then transformed into him, toying with Future Vilgax before pushing him into a pool, or a lake. In a change of face, he teamed up with Gwen as Charmcaster to take out two criminals that hijacked a delivery truck that had Gwen's groceries on it, but they were taken out by Gwen by the time he arrived. And under wraps, he appeared twice, once during the montage making stakes in the ground to build a fence, and then the other time he dug out the corrodium before battling the mummy, but unfortunately was caught by the mummy and unconventionally timed out. In the Unnaturals, he battled the squires in the factory that make them, and managed to beat them all and blow up the factory before and escaped from it. And then in the Visitor, he put the rust bucket back together after it blew up due to the Mechadroid and Forearms. So, he's clearly a walking crystal, so he can form knives from his hands and form crystals from his back, or make those crystals sharper. His crystals have also been proven to be sharp, and due to the fact that he is a walking crystal, he can reflect lasers and redirect them elsewhere. He's also able to shoot/toss shards of crystal, which can clog machines. He can form a protective shield out of diamond, and can form crystals out of the ground. He's also very durable, can form claws. His female form is a little more agile than his male form, not to be sexist. He has quick reflexes, can encase people in crystals, and can make himself slides to transport himself, sort of like a homemade skate park in a way. He also can form hands into pikes and appear by crystal, and can roll in a ball and shoot out multiple crystals when unfurled. However, he can be shattered or cracked with enough force. He can be weighed down with enough force, as shown in the episode Framed, in which he was weighed down by a lot of pennies. His eyes can also be cut with a sharp blade, and his size can be a disadvantage at times, as well as his weight, considering the fact that he's one of Ben's heavier enemies, aliens. So, we got 3 more aliens to cover, and 1 more in Ben 10,000. So, our next alien is Upgrade, whose first line is this. Of these remaining aliens, which one is Upgrade? 10 seconds, good luck. Upgrade is this alien right here. He's a galvanic mechamorph who first appeared in the episode Ben 10,000, in which he fought Vilgax as an upgraded hoverboard and managed to distract him for a bit before Ben 10,000 transformed him into Cannibal. Then in Midnight Madness, he was hypnotized by Subliminal to steal a clock, to which he succeeded in and flew over to deliver it to him after a brief fight. He then upgraded an excavator nearby and drove to the rust bucket where he timed out. Then in Game Over, he appeared twice, once when he upgraded the game to make Gwen lose, but unfortunately zapped him and Gwen into the game. He then beat some sumo bots before timing out, much to Gwen's annoyance. Then at the end of the episode, he beat Kenko by destroying his armor, and revived Ishiyama before taking both him and Gwen out of the game. Under wraps, he battled the mummy as an upgraded liquid nitrogen cannon, and was able to beat him by freezing the mummy and burying it where the corrodium was found before. In Be Afraid of the Dark, he upgraded a booster engine to get into space while also battling Victor on the booster. He then beat him and went into the ship and beat the mummy by trapping it in the airlock before timing out. So he can merge with any type of tech, including vehicles, improving or destroying it. Sometimes he can create weapons and control it at times. He also is shown to be strong. He can also shoot a laser beam out of his eye, which is this little circle part at the top. This goes for when he's merged with tech as well. He can also make himself a parachute and can read online files when hacked into a computer. And when upgraded, he can make spikes or tentacles to deter people away from him. He can also toss things that are part of the thing he controls and form his head and fist to fight. He is also elastic, can launch the upgraded object at someone if it goes fast enough, and can turn himself to goo to move in between objects and just be goo to what he did in Midnight Madness. He can teleport himself through electronic devices. He is strong. He's immune to bullets as it will just absorb into him. And is able to modify games as well as control them. He can also fly circuits when an upgrade item and can survive in space. However, he's vulnerable to electricity since he is living metal and can be hypnotized. That's all for upgrade. Now on to from a galvanic mechamorph to a Galvin of gray matter. His first line is this.
Take me to your leader. Your will is my command.
Of course, I had to be in front of Gwen. Of these remaining aliens, which one is gray matter? 10 seconds, good luck. So, gray matter is this alien right here. So we have Ben 10 as gray matter. And then we have Gwen as gray matter, which I never enjoyed. The hair just looks too weird. He first appeared in the episode Midnight Madness after hypnotically transforming into him, to which he did whatever Gwen commanded, like feeding her grapes or combing her hair before timing out and waking out of the trance. In Merry Christmas, he appeared first trying to fix the AC in the rust bucket so they could cool off, but instead he broke the rust bucket and they broke down in the middle of the desert. He then appeared the second time to take down the Jingleator and succeeded in defeating Mr. Jingles and the Jingleator. In the Unnaturals, he managed to take down some criminal's vehicle by removing some wires, causing it to crash before being launched into a jelly bean jar, correctly guessing the amount, winning him the Digi Downloader, which was destroyed in Monster Weather. In Be Afraid of the Dark, he figured out Ghostbeak's plan to cover the world in corrodium so he could rule it without worrying about the sun, and also made a mini stun gun before timing out in a really bad spot. So he can fit in small places due to, his small stature. He's also very smart, can breathe underwater for a brief time, can swim, he has a high jump, and is strong for his size considering that he was able to lift a phone. He has a strong bite and is able to stick to surfaces since he is sticky. He has knowledge on how to take down aliens and is very agile. However, that small stature can be very problematic when facing bigger enemies. His intelligence can be confusing for people who don't know what he's saying. Even Ben doesn't even know what he's saying at times. He can be picked up with relative ease. He can be hypnotized, and he may be smart, but that doesn't mean he knows how to do everything. Now our final alien of the day would be this one right here, whose first line is this.
What? It wasn't me? It's Kangaroo Commando. He needs help.
That was his first line. And 10 seconds to try and figure out who this alien is. Good luck. So, this alien is a Pyro Knight whose name is Heat Blast. So we have Gwen, who's just a skinnier version of Heat Blast. We got a normal Heat Blast. We got Ben 10,000 as Heat Blast, who just has volcanoes on him. And then I would show this image as Heat Blast under the effects of a cold, but it didn't come out right. But this is him under the effects of a cold. So we first appeared in the episode Ben 10,000, which he transformed into him to battle future Vilgax, but managed to put some fire on him, but unfortunately was launched. He then appeared in Midnight Madness under Subliminal's control, robbing a hardware storage facility and succeeded in aiding him and his two other helpers before accidentally blowing up the place with propane. Then in Super Alien Hero Buddy Adventures, in which he first spoke, he wanted to do something with Tim Dean, which wasn't described, but ended up saving Abel North, but he didn't need saving. So he played with the crowd as the villain and was defeated intentionally, being knocked into the water. In Monster Well, he battles Sam as a water monster and managed to evaporate the water by going supernova hot, defeating him but not killing him. Finally, in The Visitor, he battles Eileen before being beat by her being soaked with water. So he can make and shoot fireballs from his hands, can shoot a single jet fire, can walk on fire, he's shown to be somewhat strong, can remove flames from an area, can produce a ton of flames for transport, can surf on flames, can produce a giant fireball as well as baby ones, can melt certain products like metal and glass, he can light himself on fire, making his attack stronger, or as a means of getting people off him, often called supernova hot. When sick, he has ice powers, being the only one shown to have benefits when sick. He sort of becomes like a version of Diamond Head in a way. His cyclone of flames can damage nearby enemies, can blast off a heat explosion like a rocket, can produce fireworks, has fire breath, but is never shown but mentioned by Ben in Gwen 10, and can produce a line of heat. However, he can be put out briefly by a water or a fire extinguisher, and if soaked, he won't be able to ignite. He can also be hypnotized and briefly blinded by smoke. This covers the aliens for today. I would like to thank you guys for watching, and next time we'll cover the remaining aliens. So we have aliens like Arctic One and Spitter. A few like one-off aliens in this original series. I'll see you guys then.